We're ready for the run for all the marbles here on the Columbia River in Tri-Cities, Washington. Dick Crippen along with Jim Hedrick and Mark Spencer. The Circus Circus boat with 800 points. He's leading the field coming into this final heat of action. Jip presents Mr. Pringles, a winner in Heat 2B. And here's the damaged Miss Budweiser. If you look to the left of your screen, right under the wing in the back, you can see the hole in the boat. There is damage to that boat. Tommy's got to be concerned.
Chip Hanauer will drive Circus Circus. As always, in this final heat, Mr. Pringles with George Woods Jr. at the wheel, winner of one of the preliminary heats. Miss Budweiser, damaged at all. Tommy D at the controls. Old Boy Oberto with the rookie, showing fine driving today, Mark Tate. And Jim Kropfeld, the veteran, in the Winston Eagle. Also, the whole set Miss Mazda with Mike Hansen. And rounding out the field, the Cooper's Express, driven by Mitch Evans.
The boat's coming down to the start line, but it looks like engine trouble for the Miss Circus Circus. The turbine engine is not producing the power to keep the boat on a high plane. We'll watch closely to see if he even takes a start. Meanwhile, we have quite a bit of competition between the Winston Eagle and the Miss Budweiser on the far outside. They come down almost dead even to take the start here in the final heat of action. This is the championship for the Budweiser Columbia Cup.
And what a shot from our helicopter as they hit corner number 1 on this very first lap. And in front, it's the Winston Eagle in lane number 2. And on the outside, not too far back, is the Miss Budweiser, inching up in his roots of tail. We're going to have one whale of a race if this continues.
Boy, this sure demonstrates the amount of faith that Tom Deeth has in that pit crew for the Miss Budweiser as you see him put power on with that damage to the back of the boat. But it's not concerning him at this point. This is the Winston Eagle in the lead, popping out of the water. It looks like the water is already roughed up in this, the first lap. So Jim Kropfeld has been served notice already as he serves notice on the rest of the field. Tommy Deeth being forced to go very far to the outside of the course, and he keeps his speed high.
The Circus Circus restarted, but now has had troubles down in corner number 2 once again, and for the second time has gone dead in the water. 132.1 for Winston Eagle, but look who's challenging.
And he is rocking back and forth. Very light action as you see those two boats going into turn number 2 now, and both of them pedal to the metal, and on the inside it's the Winston Eagle, on the outside the red and white Budweiser.
And as he takes the lead, Dick, we're getting word from the URC that Miss Budweiser was the leader anyway, because the Winston Eagle has been assessed 1 penalty for changing lanes prior to the start of the race.
And of course, the Circus Circus had engine trouble, is now sitting dead in the water down there as Chip Hanauer decides whether or not he can restart the boat. The Miss Budweiser, damage and all, now in the lead and taking command of the field. Winston Eagle, as the boat's run, has dropped back to second place, but in reality has been penalized a lap, as Jim just told you. There you see Jim Kropfeld in the Winston Eagle. Now he's got to figure out his strategy because he technically is running fourth.
Dick, we're getting word from the URC radio that the Old Boy Oberto, driven by Mark Tate, has also been assessed a 1-lap penalty here in this final for cutting off the Mr. Pringles. And the Pringles is sitting dead in the water down in corner number 2 next to the Circus Circus.
So attrition in this race very high at this point. Penalties are being assessed throughout the field. This boat so far running clean and running in first. Tom Deeth from Fairhaven, Michigan in the Miss Budweiser. The boat has damage to it. That could be a concern because it is structural damage to the back end of the boat. It's actually the driver's right. There you see Chip Hanauer. There is nothing more he can do. He cannot restart it. Look at the heat waves on that boat. You get an idea of how hot it is here on the Columbia River.
Tommy Deeth, damage and all to Miss Budweiser, completing lap number 3 at 129.1 mile an hour. 2 more laps to go.
That's right, and the damage is still a concern to that boat because the wakes that you see flying back into the back end of that boat are actually being caught, and on the turns, Jim, it's got to be especially damaging.
Looking down now to corner number 2, there's the Mr. Pringles and another spectator driver. That's George Woods Jr. as the Winston Eagle whips by him. Less than 2 laps to go for Tommy Deeth. Wears this boat like a suit of clothes. He can feel every vibration. He knows boats. He builds them, you know. In the off-season, he builds smaller class race boats.
And I notice as he comes around the turn, we're getting a little bit of a wobble from the wings in the back of that boat. That structure may be giving way underneath. So this race is far from over at this point. If the damage continues to increase on the boat, look at the wings as they wiggle in the back. He's got a problem back there. I don't even know if he'll be aware of it at this point, but that could affect the handling.
130.5. It didn't have, hamper the speed at all. But oh, it's really wobbly now. Look at it. He better be careful in the turn. He could lose that whole tail section. It could cost him the race with less than a lap to go.
More than likely, the crew has already radioed to him that he has a problem with the boat, and he's aware of it, but whether or not he actually feels the problem is another situation. Of course, at this point, he has sole possession of first place with no challenge at all, because the boat right behind him, the Winston Eagle, has been penalized the lap, and so has the Oh Boy Alberto. We continue to watch the tail section as he goes into the final turn.
And with the penalty, Oh Boy Alberto, who we're looking at right now, he's in third place, but not really. He's actually in fifth because of the penalty, as our winner comes down to take the checker flag.
And he's just going to make it across with that wing as it continues to wobble on the back of that boat. A great shot right there as Tom Deeth claims the Budweiser Columbia Cup here on the Columbia River in Tri-Cities, Washington. A great win for the Miss Budweiser crew, damage and all.
Winston Eagle coming in now will finish overall fourth place because of the one-lap penalty. Here's your second place boat, Holset Miss Mazda with Mike Hansen.